And we are live. As usual, no real major setup. We used to have a little theme song and kind of got rid of it. Don't have the theme song anymore. And we just raw dog it, as they say now. We just fucking go in with no intro. Today we've got a special guest. Um, Not short butts special, but
Maybe short bus special.
maybe, yeah, it depends on who you ask. But we do have a special guest. I'll give her some time to introduce herself just in a little bit. Isaac will be back with us hopefully next Thursday. So he'll be back with us again hopefully next Thursday. Um, the the other thing that I did want to talk about before we continue moving forward is we've got some shit coming up. We've got the competitions coming up. If you guys are unaware, GFE hosts competitions. They do qualify you to obtain your concealed handgun permit in the state of Colorado, which is primarily where we're focused on, but also other states. It qualifies you to obtain your concealed handgun permit. What's the benefit of that? You don't need to take any test. You don't. There's no time requirement. There's no any of that stuff. So it's basically show up, do some pew pew with your guns. Our next competition is going to be this Sunday. Today's the 26th of June. This Sunday is the 29th of June. Oh no, the 28th, right? 28th. What the fuck am I saying? No, yeah, I was right. The 29th of June. So go to our website, gfenational.com, tell people about that shit. It's a way to support us. It's also a way to obtain your concealed handgun permit without participating in their new fucking weird shit. But at any rate, AnarCO Barbie. I don't know why I fucked that up when I set it up at the beginning. Um, have no fucking clue. Instead of me telling humans about you, how about you tell humans about you, who you are, what you're all about, why people should care about you or shouldn't, all that stuff.
All right. Not really sure. I know you gave me some things to check off, but my name is actually Allison. It's not really Barbie. I am an anarchist in Colorado, and I'm also fairly punny. Hence the
Huh?
AnarCO. It's not anarcho communism, which some people get confused with. It's anarchy for Colorado.
Yeah,
Not anarchy tyranny, which is what we're living in Colorado at the moment. But
correct.
and then Barbie is a metaphor to me of choosing who you want to be and being it. Barbie can be anything. And I'm a girl and I like pink. What I'm all about. I'm all about freedom. And I'm all against slavery. Hence the anarchist part of me. So, of course, here I am on a Guns for Everyone podcast because freedom and guns kind of go hand in hand. You look like you're going to say something, Edgar. You want to
No,
talk?
no, no, no.
Okay. You can't really be free unless you have the ability to defend your life. So, guns have become an important part of my life to different extents over the past 10 years. Um, what I'm all about. That's kind of what I'm all about. No, it's more. So with freedom, it's not just freedom from government; it's freedom from ourselves. So I'm big on spirituality and philosophy, and first freeing yourself from your own ego, and then once you do that, I don't think many people can tolerate being controlled by the complete, disgusting, filthy scum human beings that are controlling our lives through a monopoly of force.
Yeah, you
How's
came in
that? Is
hot.
that a good enough intro?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think there's more, but you came in hot. A lot of people with Stockholm syndrome are going to be a little offended by your verbiage. Uh,
Oh, well, I was only talking about the ones in government. I mean, yes, the citizens. I mean, I there's some saying about you're not really spiritual if you're judging people who haven't woken up, something like that. But
yeah.
I try, at least in my mind, not out in the world, to not judge people. I was a Democrat. I caucused for Bernie Sanders in 2016. So I get it. We all kind of get caught up in this system. I'm big on systems, calling out systems. Corporate America is a system. Government is a system. We, as humans, like to be organized and be told what to do. And there are people that take advantage of that, and they build these systems that are just extremely unhealthy for our minds, for our bodies, for our spirits, our souls. So I don't really know how I got onto that point, Edgar.
No,
Um,
it,
oh,
it,
the status. I get it. I was there. But yeah, I was more directing that at Governor Polis and oh my goodness, I'm so glad I don't know their names off the top of my head, but I do Lorena Garcia and all those stupid people who like to um, project their insecurities and lack of control of themselves on us.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people can confuse. This is why we as Guns for Everyone, myself and Isaac, if you guys have been following us for a very long time, Isaac and myself really truly started as trolls on the internet. That was our thing. Isaac is a fucking superb troll, amazing, an incredible fucking troll because he spends a lot of time. He used to a lot of spend a lot of time on the forums and the old High Point forums and all of that shit. So like he's awesome at that. I try to stay away from that, but we love trolling. A lot of our roots.
Fun.
It kind of is fun. I mean, it's soul sucking as well, but it can be fun. But we we understand kind of that balance of when we like go to our social medias and we don't really talk about politics unless it's about a bill that we oppose. We don't really say fuck Polis. We don't really say fuck Trump. We have and we've mentioned, hey, Trump is not as awesome for guns as you think it is. But the problem with us and finding that balance is the humans who follow them loyally and religiously get their fucking panties in a wad, and they're like, well, now you're talking shit to me because I'm this person. And like that's not it's this person who you said was pro gun is not pro gun, is okay with taking guns away from us, and it doesn't matter which side of the aisle that they're on. So we stay away from that because there's so much nuance behind it. It's sometimes not even worth it. Bills, let's attack the bills and let's attack the people who are anti-gun. But we're in it right now, so I think today we're gonna give that exception to just like fuck it. Let's call this shit out.
Well, it's
Uh,
me, not you, right?
well, I don't care. It's not that I'm afraid that people know that I believe Trump is a fucking idiot because he's not pro gun. And the other thing is people will want to mix in the other stuff that we're not a part of, right? Like a lot of people are like, well, this person wants to kill babies. I'm like, yeah, but we're not. We're a gun organization. We do gun stuff, and I don't want to get into that politics as Guns for Everyone. If you want to go have dinner with me and you want to pay for my dinner and you want to have a chat about that privately, for sure. But like we're a gun organization, so it's unfair to the people who follow us, to the two people that follow us, for gun stuff, to then for us to switch it up and start talking about fucking gay rights and abortion issues or immigration issues or anything like that. We're guns. That's what we talk about. Um,
For me, I mean, since we're going into politics here, again, I caucused for Bernie Sanders in 2016. And where, what kind of got me out of my progressive socialist Democrat mindset was guns, honestly. I was all the, oh, we're not trying to take anyone's guns. They're trying to take fucking guns. But it's the realization that I'm voting to take away someone's rights that I care about. and they're doing the same to me. And there is no platform. There is one platform. It's libertarians. But everyone's just voting to take rights away from everybody else. And everyone has their opinions. Everyone has their beliefs. But imposing that on someone else is not your role in this world. Your role in this world is to go focus on you. If you don't like abortions, don't have an abortion. I know then you get into, well, it's a murder and murder's wrong. Sorry, I'm debating whether or not to go into shadow integration or not. Murder's not always wrong. I'm not saying abortion is right. I'm not. Pedophiles. I don't think it's wrong to murder pedophiles.
It's always nuanced. It's always nuanced.
Yes, there is nuance. And how I look at it is I try to think of what would I do in an anarchist society? I'd move the fuck away from these people.
Yeah.
I don't care. Go. You want to go? Do you have orgies in your front yard? Have fucking at it. I'm leaving. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to go live with people who share my values. And I think it's important to just leave people alone. Stop voting to take away people's rights, because they're doing the same to you. And it becomes this competition of who gets to keep their rights. And I think that's just very silly, because everyone should keep their rights. I have no place telling you what gun you should own.
And that's always in my anarchy journey, I guess you would say. I've always had a difficult time reconciling this idea of, I don't want to vote people's rights away, but I kind of do want to tell people what and what not to do. Because again, is I don't want to live next to the loud weed smoke, but I think you should be loud and smoke weed if that's what you want for your life. Because I feel like that for guns, right? Like you don't need to like them. I got plenty of humans around me that are like, oh, they're just not for me. I got plenty of students. Guns for Everyone sees a lot of students. I just had one 2 classes ago. When she started shooting, she broke down, she started crying. She's like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. You guys have the guns. I'll just be right here next to you. And it's not for everybody. So it's this conflict of your own, sometimes hypocrisies, that's been a trouble for me. So I don't think the government should tell humans what to do. But I think I have people around me that should tell me what to do.
I think there's a difference between giving advice and having grown-up conversations. I accidentally killed my neighbor's grass. I feel horrible.
Yeah.
I need to go apologize and go give him, do something to fix his grass. There shouldn't be a law that says you can't kill someone's grass. I mean, it's and that's the extent that they'll take it. I'm seeing something in the UK. It's illegal to open your windows. This is just nonsense. But it's respecting people. I didn't intentionally kill his grass.
You did.
I didn't. I did. But I did it. And yeah, making a law that says you can't use vinegar in a rock bed if it's going to bleed into your neighbor's yard just is silly. But that's what people want to do. I think we've become a society that uses the government as a crutch, as opposed to being adults and having hard conversations with people in our lives, where we vote to control them, as opposed to telling them, hey, I really don't like when you park in front of my house or you park there. I have an 18-wheeler that parks on a street in my neighborhood and blocks the view of oncoming traffic. And I'm never going to call the cops and tell them, you should make a no parking zone for 18-wheelers here. I'm going to go leave him a note on his windshield, because it's dangerous. But
at what point do you deflate his tires? I want to see where your line is at.
I don't deflate his tires.
Yeah, all right. All right.
And I'm being the aggressor.
Correct.
I know libertarian philosophy is basically, again, I'm not a libertarian. I mean, it is the closest political party that I align with. But the non-aggression principle, just don't hurt people and don't take their stuff. And just slashing someone's tires does hurt people. But blocking the view of oncoming traffic also hurts people too. So he's not being a very good neighbor. But again,
Cool.
I think we've become a society that just doesn't talk to people.
Yeah.
We don't want to having hard conversations. I think it spans personal relationships and out in the world with strangers of not being able to have conversations.
Correct.
I'm kind of a hypocrite because I'm kind of a bitch about it, but yeah, at least I say something. Shame them.
There.
Freaking parking lot, not a sidewalk.
Yeah. We. I'm gonna switch gears just a little bit. Because I've had the pleasure of being in your brain a little bit. So I want to switch it up really quick and have a conversation about laws that passed here in the state of Colorado. I think the last number was 14 that passed here in the state of Colorado that are anti-gun. You were at some of the committee meetings. I was at most of the committee meetings, not all of them, but I was at most of them, one way or another. You were there at some, and one of the things that I think you and I agree on, at least at a personal level, and this is the conflict that I always have is how to. No, it's not even a conflict. I think Isaac, myself, and Guns for Everyone all align basically the same, being that Isaac and I agree on I politically for the most part on this stuff. And one of the words that we heard a lot was I'm a law abiding citizen. I'm a law abiding citizen. I'm a law abiding citizen. And there's other advocates, other gun advocates. I don't know if you would consider yourself a gun advocate, but a lot of the people that are gun advocates would continue saying that I'm a law-abiding citizen. And I'll be fair and I'll be honest. I've used the term before, right? Because you want to earn brownie points and you don't want to sound so aggressive. But what's the problem with saying that you're a law-abiding citizen?
You're gonna obey the law that they pass. They can
Okay,
do whatever pass whatever law they want, and you're just gonna fall in line, and you're gonna keep following the law. That's great. Let's let's follow the law until we have no rights left. Um, yeah, that's I can keep going, but
you should because it's a podcast and you
okay.
should. Yeah, yeah,
I think man's law is immoral. I mean, I follow natural law. I don't hurt people. Don't take their stuff. That's all I need to do. I don't need someone making rules for my life. I can make my rules myself. I am more qualified than Lorena Garcia, the freaking mental patient, at deciding what is right for my life. And then the people, they keep trying to pass these laws to prevent shootings. Well, I'm not the one shooting people. So why are you passing a law to restrict my rights? And they know what they're doing. They're appealing to emotion. They're appealing to people that they've brainwashed and indoctrinated. They bring in their kids to cry and tell how scared they are in school. It's just it's psychosis. Um, and I'm sure there's people listening who love the law, just follow the law. I know it's my life. I don't know who you are to think that you can tell me what to do
yeah.
if I'm not hurting somebody. I
Correct.
mean, if I take my gun out and I start shooting someone for no reason, you should shoot me. That's what should happen. You shouldn't pass a law. You should just shoot me. That's not going to happen though because
Correct.
I'm not a psychopath. Did
Yet.
I answer your question?
I think you answered the
Yet.
question. And we see this a lot in the gun community, right? There's an instructor right now that I'm incredibly frustrated with. Because like always, right? They're always good people, and because that's the saying, always a good person. But my wife and I was just talking about this yesterday because we update for those of you guys that don't know, Guns for Everyone National on our website we have the entire list, all of the counties, every single person who's a verified instructor. We have it there. We host it for free. It's a service for students more than anything else. As a byproduct, instructors get some free publicity. It doesn't mean we endorse them. It doesn't mean we're aligned with them in any way, shape, or form. But we do it so that students are not confused with how the instructor verification law works in the state of Colorado. At any rate, one of the instructors who we know and we talk to is basically verified in every single fucking county. Um, and it's just like, fuck, because that's not how the law works. The law says you need to be verified in the county where um, you do most of your business, the primary address where you do your business. So he should only be verified in one county, not all counties. But because he doesn't want to lose anything, he's verified in basically every fucking county. And what that does for the rest of the instructors is now every other instructor is probably going to be faced with every fucking county saying, no, you should be verified in every fucking county, pay in every county, to teach in every county. And then when you say, no, 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 that's not what the law says, guess what they're going to say? Well, this instructor, look at him. He followed what we told him to say, or he followed what we told him to do. He's a rule follower, so you should do it too. Because we faced this. We have faced this with certificates where the sheriff tells, hey, we want the certificates to look like this. I'm like, nope, we're not going to do that because that's not what the law requires. And we're just not going to do that. Logistically, it's a nightmare for me to fucking have a certificate for 64 different fucking counties. It's not going to happen. And that was a rebuttal. While every other instructor does it, why don't you do it? Like, because that's not how this works. It's bad enough that I'm already participating in your fucking scheme here. And there's reasons why we participate in the scheme, and you can call it awesome or not awesome, but we've got reasons. Understanding that it's fucking stupid that we participate. So like I know our own hypocrisies participating in the game. We do it because unfortunately there's grandmas who don't fucking know. They just don't know, and there's that 18-year-old kid who's being stalked that doesn't know and doesn't understand and isn't there yet politically or whatever. Like, I get it. There's humans that don't agree with me, but just got pushed into guns, and that's why we participate in this fucking scheme. Um, so the law abiding for us, it's always like, man, if everybody would just stop fucking following the law, we wouldn't have this issue. We wouldn't have this fucking problem. You and I have had this conversation though. The problem is that if you and I show up to the Capitol tomorrow, open carrying, we're just gonna
Just two of
be
us.
two fucking nutcases who showed up to the Capitol open carrying. But it should be 6,000 of us at the
Yep.
Capitol. It should be
Yep.
10,000 of us at the Capitol open carrying. But everybody's like, no, as the law says, no, I got to go to work. And this is where it's just like, you got to, one, understand law abiding kills our freedom. It does
Yep.
not help our freedom. I get it. We all have different motivations. We have different things we got to do, different things we got to pay, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Obviously, it's not working.
Well, that's a part of the design, right? They put us through our government indoctrination camps. They make us believe we're virtuous for voting and for supporting laws and controlling others. And then they instill fear in you, that you're going to get arrested, you're going to go to jail, you're going to lose your income. They use coercion against all of us and they make people fearful. A shooting instructor who they make their living, they feed their kids off of having their certification with the county. If they don't follow the law, they can't feed their kids now. So they've really built a system that it's designed to keep us slaves, physically and psychologically. And I think the only way, there's a meme, it's, what is it, when there's many memes of the people standing up against the politicians, the people with the whips and on horses and uplifting a table. I'm sure everyone's seen something where the people rise up. Nobody's fucking rising up. I mean, we're getting permits to go to protest against massive infringements on our rights. We're not telling. I'm gonna start. I can curse freely.
I've never fucking cussed in my life.
Okay. We're not telling
But
these motherfuckers to be scared of us. We're sitting here telling these absolute scum pieces of fucking shit that we're going to listen to them and that we're not scary. Because we're not. Because we're too fucking scared. And it frustrates me a whole awful lot because I'm ready to fucking stand up, but I'm all alone. Because we need to go down to the Capitol and we need to tell them how law abiding we are, and we need to give them a piece of our mind, and they don't fucking care. You had commented I was at a few. I only went to one this year. I did last year, but after going through it once, like, this is a waste of my fucking time. I'm not going to sit here and beg these fucking losers for my rights. How degrading. But I did. I went to the one this year. It was the finance committee, which was annoying because you talk about numbers and not rights or whatever. But yeah, and I didn't oppose it. Let's fucking go, you motherfuckers. I was trying to think. I'm constantly brainstorming. Like, I feel like there's an answer somewhere, and I'm on this search for an answer, going through psychology books and philosophy books and trying to learn, try to find a fucking answer. But the government is so massive, there's nothing we can do to take it down on our own. Like, we have to use the power of the government against itself, or we can't win. And I think, you can take a pause there and move to psychology. Suffering is what makes us, hitting rock bottom is where we freaking grow from. So let's fucking hit rock bottom. Let's fucking all vote fucking Democrat. Let's fucking bankrupt the fucking state. It's gonna happen. Let's do it on our terms. But sitting back and pleading with these fucking losers for our rights, it's not gonna do anything. And I'm not advocating to go kill people by any means. I advocate for people to organize and for people to prepare, because the courts aren't going to save us. The activists aren't going to save us. No one is going to fucking save us. The only person that is ever going to save you is your fucking self. So you need to fucking stand up. You need to go find your friends. You need to organize, because they're not stopping. You can see it. They're never going to stop. They have control of people's minds.
yeah, that's always I think that's where the conflict is with me for sure is I have seen politicians turn because a lot of people show up, but it's only because a lot of people show up, and maybe you just delay the process instead of like fully stopping the process. And that's what we want. We really want to stop this. Like, never again do I want to have to fight for this ever the fuck again. That kind of unrealistic, kind of utopian, kind of it's not going to happen. But and it's that last thing that you said, right? It's humans want somebody else to do it. I see this in my classrooms all the time, and it's hilarious. And I kind of use it as a social experiment. But from time to time, I will have a class where I unlock the door. And if you do classes with me, you'll probably see this. But I'll unlock the door, and nobody comes in. They heard the door unlock. The sign says 10 minutes before the class starts, the door unlocks. They hear it unlock. Nobody comes in. And it's gotten to the point where I'm just an asshole about it. Instead of just doing the correct thing and opening the door and saying, come on in, it's open now, I'll go to the window and find somebody who's parking. And I was like, hey, you're going to see a bunch of weirdos just waiting in the hallway. Just come on in. Just don't ask questions. Just come on in. And it's not until that human enters the room when everybody's like, oh, we can do it now. And that is the problem, is we all have that herd mentality, is I'm not going to do it till somebody else does it and see what happens to them, and see how it pans out for them. And that's a problem, because as much as we are a herd, it's we want to not do things as a herd. We don't want to do things as a herd. And that's weird. It's strange that collectively we just don't do it individually.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you, but I'll give him a call out here too, because he had put a little bug in my ear. But I had gone to a Liberty on the Rocks, where Charlie Robinson of Macroaggressions podcast was speaking, and asked him kind of how we get people to wake up. How do you get people out of this trance? And his response was, stand up. The example is during COVID with people who would take their mask off. Everyone's so scared. Everyone's wearing their mask, but you see someone else that takes their mask off and people start taking their masks off. So I think there are a lot of people, whether they're statist or anarchist or don't know or they don't care. There are people that want to stand up, but there's no one showing them what to do or how to do it or organize. And the activism taking place in Colorado is all about the courts and the testifying and the doing things that don't move the needle. Sure, there's some court rulings that are beneficial, but it doesn't stop the states. And then you end up in 5-10-year legal battles and on and on and on. And in the meantime, people are too scared and the culture is changing. Again, going back to what I would do in an anarchist society, culture matters. You can still shame people. You can still tell people what to do because you're a herd, right? You freaking shame them. If you don't like abortion, go fucking shame those people who are having abortions. And you can organize society that way. But yeah, people need to stand up. There needs to be a herd of people standing up. This court shit, it makes people, it's an adrenaline rush. It makes people feel like they matter. It makes people feel like they're using their voice, just like voting does. Oh goodness, during like election, all the voting, like my stomach would turn at everyone. Use your voice. Make sure you're registered. Like it's just so freaking ridiculous. Your vote doesn't matter. Your vote is not your voice. Your voice is your fucking voice. And people need to actually start using their fucking voice. Actions speak louder than words. Again, I'm not advocating for violent overthrow of the government. I'm advocating for people to organize and prepare. Organization, I think, is the hardest thing for people to do because people just don't care. They just want to go to their range once a week. And what is up with this freaking pervert? I'll follow someone that shows me an ankle. I got new sandals yesterday. I have a picture of my feet. If you want those.
Which one are you talking about?
I don't even want to big us, dick us.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't like our OnlyFans either. But yeah, people need to stand up. People need to see people standing up. There's not very many of us. I know I'm more active on Twitter than any other social media. And there's like 4 of us that troll the activists. And then there's a bunch of freaking, you need to go talk at the court. That's all you can do. Like, you fucking pussy. It's disgusting.
Was that your impression of Biggest Dickus?
No, he could just be a freaking 15-year-old being an idiot. I don't know. Thank you. Yeah. Next.
Yeah. Next. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's complex accepting that you live in the society that you live in. Because I've had to come to this conclusion, right? Anarchy to a certain degree is kind of this utopian idea. No, you don't think so?
It's not.
I think so. Because
there's no utopia. And I think anarchism is the only philosophy that accepts there is no utopia.
Let me clarify this. Let me clarify this. It is a pipe dream. It's never going to happen. It is unrealistic. Not the way we operate, because I can't go anywhere and have a truly anarchist society. So when I say I guess I understand where I fucked up. Now you're just being racist to the Mexican. But it's this idea that I will never see, my children will never see. It's just not going to happen. And that's what I mean by that. but I get it. It's anarchy is chaos. It's
Humans are fucking idiots.
y-
Um, they're fucking idiots, and you can tell this because it's all of history, just repeating over and over and over again. And we can sit here and acknowledge we don't learn from history, and then still not learn from history. Like, you fucking idiot! Like, learn from history. It's the
yeah,
exact same fucking thing happening over and over and over again. But I acknowledge that people are idiots. People need to be led. And I think the word anarchy scares a lot of people because they've been indoctrinated to believe it's just chaos and violence. And they do it all the time. They have protests or violent protests. It's anarchy. No, that's not fucking anarchy. Those are mentally ill people freaking being fucking mentally ill. And in an anarchist society, you can go in and you can beat their fucking asses and send them fucking on their way. But you can't do that now because the government will punish you. I think government, I'm going on a tangent here. I'm sorry. Government actually protects criminals, pedophiles, rapists, murderers. In a utopia, anarchist utopia, they're just dead. They don't live. They don't survive. But yes, I don't think it'll ever happen because the human mind is so, I'll call it fragile. So when I say I'm an anarchist, it's more of a manifestation. I don't care if it's real. I don't care if it ever happens. I don't care if it's unrealistic. It is the only moral philosophy that I'm aware of. It's the only philosophy that allows for freedom. You bring in any government with force and freedom's gone, immediately gone. But I think a way to speak of it in a less terrifying way to people who don't understand the philosophy is just voluntarism. That means you end the income tax, you end taxes, and things become voluntary. And well, then we're not going to have this. Well, then if people don't want to fund that, we don't want it. Like, I that's not an argument. If enough people want it, enough people are going to fund it. If they don't want it, they're not going to have it. If nobody pays for the roads, well, the people are going to suffer the consequences of that, and then they're going to pay to build the roads. So it's a philosophy that actually puts the responsibility on the individual, whereas any form of government puts the responsibility on the government. And the bigger and bigger and bigger it becomes, like today, nobody is responsible for themselves anymore. And I see that everywhere I go, where people just have no consideration for anyone around them because they don't need to. The government tells them what to do. They don't have to think. They're told what to do. But yeah, it's a manifestation. It is a pipe dream. I get it. I'm not going to argue it. But I think the more people we can pull out of the system, at least maybe we can take over a state. They're trying in New Hampshire. It's libertarian. I still don't want to live libertarian. I can't. You can't tell me what to do. I just
yeah.
my ideal world. But here I am living in Camirado.
It's um yeah, it's a tough place to be at. It's a tough conversation to have, at least with myself, is that fuck, this is what I truly believe, but it's never going to happen, so I have to balance out what's good, what's bad, um all of that shit. So it's a tough it's a tough pill to swallow, that I my principles are such, and this is how I wish it was, but I understand that we as humans, we're not the sharpest species. The fact that we are on the top of the food chain is a fucking miracle. Um, it's we have thumbs, I guess, and that's probably one
We
of
have
the things that helps us.
consciousness.
What's that?
We have consciousness.
Sure, call it whatever the fuck you want to call it, and somehow we ended up at the top. But pound for pound, we're not the brightest, right? We're not uh, we're not we're not the strongest. We're not the smartest. and we don't respect order. We don't respect a process. We try and create a fake environment. So it's always that it's always a tough conversation to have. Um, Something else you want to add?
I don't think so.
All right. 'Cause I want to talk about now that we fucking called everybody fucking idiots and encourage them to follow both you and us, in spite of our lack of ankle showing. Um, Guns and training. How did you end up there?
Um, I ended up with guns as I started losing my indoctrination. It was shortly after I got divorced, so was a single mom living on my own. And I think within the first year of my divorce, went out and got a gun. I had actually wanted one years before, but my ex-husband wouldn't let me because he had a bat. So I divorced him and got a gun instead. It's much more useful. So started that, went to a Guns for Everyone class, got my concealed carry. Had a brother in the military, my sister in the military, started shooting with them. And then just something I became more, I'll say, passionate about as I continued losing my indoctrination and learning what freedom actually meant. Sorry, got distracted by the biggest dickus.
Are you gonna
um,
share your OnlyFans link?
it's straight feet pictures all over my
It's all feet
OnlyFans.
pictures.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then into training.
I have to hold on. This is why it's easier for you girls to fucking make it in this fucking world. You fuckers and your fucking
Men are pigs.
yeah, men are fucking pigs. We're all fucking perverts. It's so much fucking easier. All that women privilege that you guys have. If I have titties, if I had fucking titties, if I just fucking just fucking did the titty stuff, I'd have so many fucking followers. Like it'd be fucking bonkers how many fucking followers. Even with this, even with the mustache, there's a lot of fucking people who like that kink. Yeah, it's fuck you guys. Fuck you guys for having it so easy. Anyways,
I don't
proceed.
have a Rumble link.
Yeah, because Rumble's stupid. We only did it because everybody kept asking, and Rumble's fucking dumb.
Um, yeah, I think sorry, just to kind of finish it off, I think it's kind of something once you get into, you don't really get out of. There's only more to come. Um, my brother-in-law, I think was a big influence. My cousin, they've all since left me, so I'm kind of on my own now. My dad, my dad passed away in December, and a conversation, I keep remembering it lately and laughing, where we were talking about the Second Amendment and abortion, and I said something about him not being in a militia, and he hung up on me, and it still just makes me laugh. um, but yeah,
So
that's it.
you didn't grow up with guns. You're not a gun family. Not. Oh yeah.
I guess on a personal note, I grew up with a lot of thank you, a lot of substance abuse and guns paired together and violence. So a part of my anti-gun stance, and again, if we go into nuances of people believing different things, a lot of these beliefs are valid. It's just the solution is wrong. You got to get down to the root cause, not the symptom. But there were times where there were guns brought into domestic violence situations in my house when I was 5 years old. So no, I did not really grow up around guns or liking guns or wanting anything to do with guns.
Yeah. Um, it's weird how that freedom from another human is what got you to I need guns. It was nothing traumatic. It wasn't. Like I
I
didn't.
think there's a lot of violence going on in Colorado. So I got divorced in 2016, 2015, 2013. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But the mass shooting in Aurora Theater, there were some other events going on where Colorado was just, it was kind of starting its downward trend into its current anarcho tyranny state. But yeah, it was the violence. Sitting in my car thinking someone could just pull out a gun and just shoot me. Like, crazy
Yeah,
people everywhere.
yeah. It's weird how. Well, I guess it's not weird. I guess it's a shame. It's not weird. It's a shame that we often just wait until something affects us personally. George Carlin said this the best: is like you Greenpeace people don't really care about the earth. You just care about how it affects your environment, how it affects not the environment, but your environment.
Yeah.
And I see this a lot with students. Like I didn't think again. This is why we still continue playing into the system, because we have a lot of humans slightly different than you in the sense that they were actually attacked. They were something violent actually happened to them, and now all of a sudden, oh shit! Now we need to change this. Now something needs to happen. Um, and it's like I wish humans would see it before and not afterwards. Um, my mother, who I don't have a good relationship with, so I don't mind sharing the hypocrisies, but she had breast cancer for a while, and that's when she wanted to go do the breast cancer walks, and that's when she wanted to do the things. And my whole family had the shirt, and they got mad at me because I didn't buy the shirt, and I was like, I'm not going to participate in this. I didn't do it before. I'm not going to do it right now. Not that it's not a noble cause or whatever, the runs and all that shit, but I'm not going to do it just because of my mom. Sounds fucked up, but she wouldn't do it for me if I got breast cancer. Uh, and she got better, and as far as I know, she doesn't have cancer anymore. And guess how many walks she goes to on now?
None.
Zero, none what the
Yeah.
whatsoever. She doesn't donate to the titties anymore. She doesn't fucking any of that shit. Only when it affected her was it super important to go on the walks and the runs, and now let's do it. And it's just like we should. That's why I didn't even participate in it to begin with. It's I didn't do it before. It sucks. I maybe I'm a shitty human because I don't, but it's not in my
I
heart.
don't think so. I think
Uh,
instances like that, and it spans politics, philosophy, personal relationships, is people don't have identities. And when something like that happens, it becomes their identity. And it's the same with the politics, how if you pick on Trump, everyone who loves Trump comes and attacks you because these things become our identities. Because we are throughout our entire lives suppressed. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Where you end up an adult in this system, and all you are is my own personal example is an accountant and a wife and a mom. And I mean, when I got divorced, I was nobody. And that's kind of, whoever wasn't here when we started, the Barbie metaphor of I am nobody. Like there is nothing to me. I have no interests. I have no hobbies. I don't even know what the fuck my personality is. Um, so kind of going on this journey of self exploration, and the system keeps people from being able to do that. And that's what happens with your mom is you find another part of your identity and you go find a herd that matches the identity. So now you're not lonely, as opposed to actually going through and doing the work. I think if society did the work, we'd be able to live in an anarchist state.
yeah, yeah. It's so and I only bring that up because that's kind of how you were pushed in, and I bring it up because that's how many other people get pushed in, and not everybody should be necessarily. Oh, I meant that was at the beginning of the fucking. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. You're good. You're good. Thanks. Um, I feel bad. She came all the way from the fucking house to bring me the luxuries of being Mexican is just
Cancer in a jar.
cancer. Whatever.
bottle.
I forget you're one of those. You're one of those. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna drink my cancer. 0 calorie cancer. But it's a shame that we all wait until something really affects us to have the tools necessary to survive.
Yep.
I wish we could effectively teach humans not to wait until something bad happens. And again, this isn't about like everybody should be a gun owner. I know we're guns for everyone, but our guns for everyone is I don't believe the government should decide who owns gun and who does and who doesn't. That's not the
Yep.
government's role. Um, but everybody should have access to the firearms. And this is where the people start. Well, what about this person? Like, yeah, everybody should have access to the firearms. Not everybody should exercise that right. But I truly believe everybody should have access to the firearms. And again, we decide as a society whether or not that fucker deserves it or not, based off of actions.
Yep.
But I wish we were be in a place where we can say this is just another thing I can use to defend myself. Just like calling brother and just like calling mom or dad or whatever. This is just something else. It's always unfortunate when people wait till they get raped, or wait till their brother is murdered, to say, hey, I need a way to defend myself. And it might just be martial arts. It might just be
Right.
learning how to poke some eyes out. It might just be something else. But if you consider the amount of humans that don't know how to fight, don't know how to run, don't know how to something just light. I don't mean go get a fucking black belt, but just something. And most humans don't. Go to Walmart, go to Target right now, and you could beat the shit out of most of the humans that are there.
Yeah. Well,
And that's crazy.
it comes down to, I mean, make it fun. People are
Mm.
scared of guns. Their guns have a negative connotation to at least half of America. Um, we need to find ways to break that stigma. I know you're aware, I don't know if I'll actually do it. I've got this form here that's unfilled out of having clubs in schools. We used to have guns in schools. They had shooting classes. We don't have that anymore because the government took over schools and decided that's not going to happen anymore. So it's on people to take the lead and actually start doing these things again, where let's indoctrinate the youth. If they're going to indoctrinate the youth, then let's indoctrinate the youth as well. I think a lot of the culture needs to start finding ways to pull in more women and children, and make it more fun and less of a chore and honestly less expensive. Um, I mean, when you have single women and single men, single people, or even just any people, not even parents, experiencing the poverty that our commies and government are inflicting on us, people can't afford to train. It's like, well, I've gone and gotten a permit, and now I don't have $200 or $300, $400, $500 to take a class. This hobby, firearms training, it's a very expensive thing to do, and people just can't afford it. I mean, you're just looking at minimum $250 for a day of a class, ammo on top of that, gear on top of that. People don't know what they need to buy. It's intimidating, and if we're going to have a culture and not have our rights completely trampled on, then even if we're not, again, organizing freaking clubs in high schools is a way of organizing. Making things easier for people to actually get training and get involved, because it is in our best interest. I'm going to go on one little tangent. I'm a big proponent of being selfish. And I think a lot of people don't understand that sometimes helping others is selfish. It's altruistic. Like if you're doing free concealed carry classes, you're just such a nice person. Whereas you can actually benefit yourself as well. So I think to get people into that mindset and having more people accepting and comfortable with guns, we need to get them early, like the government does.
Yeah, I mean they all do it. They all get them early. Religion gets them early. The government gets them early. I mean you name it, whatever little industry exists tries to get them fucking early. um,
Their systems.
like always. So the problem with our system is we w-
Is that
what?
it exists? Is that the problem?
No, it doesn't though. That's the thing. Not the way that the other stuff exists. Like if you really think about it, the gun industry is small little pockets of I like you and you like me. If you have big pharma, if we like, I don't want to talk about that. I know you do probably, but like I'm just giving an example. You have corporations that will come together. They compete and they're not happy with each other and they fucking hate each other, but they have one common goal: let's make as much fucking money as possible, and we will pull our money together to get our way and to push our meds and to do this or do the other, and they're pretty fucking successful at that shit. The government kind of operates the same way. All of our schools are the same. Everything's identical. We all have the same test. We all tell the people the exact same fucking thing. Every school has to buy this textbook. Every school has to teach this math. Every school has to teach this science, and it's all uniform. The gun industry is fads. It's whatever's fashionable at that very moment, and because of it, it's not very successful because those fads kind of come and go. It's very much um, kind of like music in the music industry to a certain degree, right? That we all have fads, and you like music from a certain era and a
Pop
certain
country.
genre, whatever it might be, and it's never as powerful as you want it to be. It's never as huge as you want it to be, just because it comes in these cycles. So it's not consistent. Gun people are not consistent. Right now, there's probably a um, a signal chat fucking going on, talking shit about me having you on and you being on our YouTube channel.
No one knows who I am. It's fine.
Um, well, most humans will know shortly to a certain degree. And that signal chat is going to be like, oh, I don't like these people and I do like these people. Instead of saying, hey, I don't like you, but we're still going to work together. We have the same goal. Like we want the same thing to a certain degree, even if it's just one topic. Let's work together. And that's a huge issue. Ghost guns are cool. It's not a fad. Yeah. And ghost guns is not a thing. It's privately made firearms. Privately made firearms are fucking dope. And if you guys don't know about the gunmakers match, you guys should look into the gunmakers match. But anyways, the do you have a time limit?
No,
Good. Um, I'm gonna switch gears really quick. It's not quick. It's actually not quick at all. But I want to talk about how awesome sheriffs are when they're pro gun. Because you believe in that, right? All sheriffs are pro gun, and all sheriffs are going to protect your rights. And
no,
we should,
absolutely not. I
and
don't
we
believe
shouldn't,
any.
we should never talk shit about our sheriffs, right?
No,
Because they all have our back.
absolutely not. I'm talking shit about my sheriff all the time.
What?
I shouldn't because I need them to get
So
into the system. But
I,
no,
I,
absolutely
I,
not.
I got this. I got this message. No, you're good. It's kind of long, but I'm gonna try and summarize it. A human who I've known for quite some time sends me a message and he says, "Okay, super mega lame. I emailed Well County because Well County super pro gun asking for clarification. Oh, hold on. Doo-doo. It starts off. Weld County specifically said, hold on. Hey, yo, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Weld County, and I'm guessing other counties aren't accepting CCW training classes from instructors outside of their county. Took a class up in Larimer County, and they won't accept it after July 1st. But just want to let you know if you weren't aware. First, my ego was hurt because she didn't take the class with me and she went with somebody else. Fucking shitty friend. And I asked, is it because it doesn't meet the new training requirements, or did they specifically say it was because the instructor was outside of Weld County. Because a lot of people misunderstand stuff. No, she says Weld County specifically said it was because they're outside of Weld. The instructors verified, blah blah blah. So then I said, well, we're suing the state of Colorado. Give me all the information. Give me the emails, all that shit. I need emails. She agreed. She said, I'm going to email them. I'll have my friends who took the class with me email them as well. And then they all did the stuff. We had another conversation, and this is what she replied. Okay, so super mega lame. I emailed Weld County asking for clarification. They called back saying they wouldn't make a statement in writing because they're not lawyers and sheriff hasn't made a decision how to interpret the
Whew.
law yet. So the sheriff hasn't made a decision on how to interpret the law yet.
I sure hope she doesn't need to defend her life in the meantime.
So she's the type of human that's like, I'm gonna do what I need to do regardless.
Yeah.
It's that risk benefit thing. I didn't even mention lawyers or anything, and I just said I want to pass it on to my instructor so they know. Um, and so this is what they do. Again, this is Weld County. Weld County is supposedly a pro gun, and they've had over a year already. That's the thing, is that they've had over a year to figure the fucking thing out, to say now we're a few days away from this law fully coming into effect, and Weld County doesn't know if they're going to accept certificates from instructors outside of the county. Which, by the way, there's nothing to be confused about. The law does not require you to be verified in the county that you're teaching. You just have to be verified in the county where you do most of your training. Once you get that verification, you're verified in the entire fucking state. Edgar, how do you know? Because we have attorneys and they have told us this is what the law says. And on top of that, we've already put it to the test with some counties when we send emails and shit like that with our attorney, where the county's like, yep, we fucked up, you're right, we're gonna change. It sucks for the lawsuits, but it's gonna change. This is where it's my biggest frustration is I got to work with these humans, and I got to email these humans on a regular basis, and they never want to talk to their people correctly. They don't want to just say, hey, we don't know what the fuck's going on. Instead, they'll on the phone they'll say, yeah, we're not accepting it, but in email they're like, we're not ready to make a written statement. um how many pro gun sheriffs do you know?
I Were there two that testified at this last machine assault weapons ban thing?
The
I'd
ones that said
say
that the ones that said that they will enforce it.
I don't know that testified against it. I don't know if they'd enforce it. I
Yeah,
don't know.
the guy from
I'm
Tallard
sure they're
County was
all
there. The guy from Tallard County was there, and there was one other one. I know El Paso County Sheriff testified. There was quite a few that testified against SB 25003, but when asked, every single one of them said, "Yeah, if it passes,
fucking
we
pussy.
we will enforce it. We will enforce it."
Disgusting.
And that's on record. That's on record. The reason I wanted to talk about it, if you're aware, or if anything, is people rely on their sheriffs to do the work for them instead of like accepting that a sheriff's still a politician and has a price. They all have a price. And I'm always encouraging humans to be careful with this stuff. Boulder County, known for anti-gunism, and that might be true, but every single time I email the people at Boulder County and I'm like, hey, why the fuck are you fucking this up? They're like, yep, let me talk to my attorney. And they get back to me, they in email. And I'm not saying Boulder's an awesome gun county, but in terms of let's do what's in the law, whether we agree with it or not, um, they are more like, yep, that this is true, this is not true. We've had to sue Republicans more than we've had to sue Democrats.
I believe it.
And I will fucking I won't say more. I won't say more. So you keep mentioning Democrats. Um, what is this thought process behind all that shit? Are all Democrats the same? Are all Republicans the same? Are all Democrats
Someone
anti-gun?
the all Democrats, I think all Democrats are in some aspect anti-gun, but they don't know it. They think they're just protecting the kids. They're not anti-gun. They're not taking away your rights. There's still this one model of pistol you can go out and buy. You still have a right. It's the mental gymnastics. I speak of the Democrats just in terms of me and what I was. I maybe there's 4 people listening. I don't know. I'm probably not going to offend that many people. I think I was a Democrat in large part because I was anti-Republican. I think what we're seeing in present state governing is that the Republicans are as communist as the fucking Democrats. There's really no difference, and I think. I mean, I can be called a conspiracy theorist. I honestly think a lot of it is just fucking scripted. They draw up their fucking plans on war and gun right infringements, and they do some freaking ad hoc or what is it when you do a skit, unscripted skit? There's a word for it. Um,
Ad lib?
Maybe like
Improv?
Trump dropping the fucking F-bomb the other day. That was not scripted, but everything else was. Where they go off script sometimes, but I think it's all a fucking scripted story. They know exactly what they're doing. They're working together. I wouldn't doubt that Biden imported people so that the Republicans could get really angry and let Trump spend a bajillion fucking dollars to deport people, so that we can implement surveillance with Palantir. We can mRNA fucking vaccinate everyone, and everyone would cheer. I think they're working lockstep. And
See, I think I disagree with that one. Um, and
that
this
it's
might be for
scripted.
this. Yeah, that it's scripted because I don't think they're that smart.
I
Because
think
if it's this because if it's this scripted, what you're admitting is that these humans are really smart, and I
no,
don't think they
not
are.
them. They've got their script. Polis isn't writing the script. Polis is being given the
No, I
script.
don't think there's any human smart enough to write the script.
Dude, they take all of our money and they go invest it in research on how to control us.
Sure.
They know exactly what to do. It's very easy to know exactly what to do to get people to do what you want them to.
Yeah.
I just finished reading this book on brainwashing, and it talked about how people that believe in God are harder to brainwash because they've already got their ruler. So what do? You bring them down to this fucking low and you make Trump their savior. They know
Maybe,
to do this.
maybe the people selling the books are doing the brainwashing so that they can sell more books. Maybe.
It's possible. So discernment is important and knowing who you're reading. I wasn't certain the dude writing the book was not brainwashed because he kept talking about democracy. Democracy is just fucking mob rule.
Yeah.
Democracy is brainwashing. So you're brainwashed and telling me about brainwashing. But I think they're working together. If it can be proven, it's never going to be. And it's not even Trump. It's fucking whoever has fucking Netanyahu by the fucking chain. They're bringing us into wars. They're stealing. Israel can go print their own money for their wars, but they don't. They print our money. They're on this mission to destroy America because we were the most free country in the world. And when we
Uh,
fall, freedom falls. That's how I see them thinking. But
yeah.
no, they do. They fund this research. I mean, we've got MK Ultra. We've got all of the fucking college studies on psychology and all of the science. They know they have this information. They bought it. They don't just let it sit there. And it's very easy to control humans. I mean, we talked to how weak our minds are and fragile. It is very easy to control a human being. It's so fucking easy to control a human being.
Yeah. So
If
so
you have
much
awareness.
so much that it's yeah, it's pretty mind-boggling how easy it is. I do want to give a little bit of a space for gun websites. If you guys don't know who gun websites is, this motherfucker's awesome with basically just keeping a log of gun history. whether it be activist or anything. His whole thing is not really taking a position, not doing like yes, no. It's just like this is the history of gun people. This is the history of gun stuff. He does more than that, but he's always got good questions and all that shit. And one of the questions is, if you were to ask to speak, I already know where you're at. You're in the and I don't know where you're at with your anarchy stuff, but like the where your brain is at, it's taking me back for me to 2010 because that's when it started kind of for me. And it's just like, oh shit, that's where I was at in 2010. I don't know where you're at with it, but question is, if you were asked to speak at GRPC, Goals, NRA, or SHOT Show, what would your topic be? Who else would you invite to speak as well? For me, and I'll have you answer this as well. For me, it's the same. I'm a broken record when it comes to speaking. It's the same speech that I had at the U.S. Capitol when I did my speech at the U.S. Capitol, and that's quit listening to me, quit listening to people, quit listening to influencers if you're not going to do the work. Um, this needs you more than it needs influencers. Society needs more humans, individual humans coming together, not one influencer representing everybody. It's a big conflict because I want to grow this channel and I'm broken and I need your attention and I need your likes and I'm so fucking depressed that I need all that shit. But at the same time, I understand that as an influencer, as a person, as a instructor, as a whatever the fuck you want to call it, it means absolutely nothing if the humans that are listening are not doing the work. Um, that's always my speech. And who would I invite? No one else. No one else. I would not invite anybody else. Every time that I invite somebody, it's it's been rough. I don't think you're like this. That's why you're on the podcast. But I'm very careful on who I do it because there's a person that you and I know who I invited into the space, and she is popular because of us. She's never going to admit it. She's never going to say it, but it hurts my heart that she is popular because of us.
He's laughing.
It, it hurts my heart because it's
Shame on you for doing
shame on
that.
me because she's not good for the industry. She's not good for the community in any way she perform. I think you agree with that. She's not good at all for the community. And in terms of where we're at as a community and as a culture, I think we're in this really weird position where we are becoming part of mainstream on the entertainment side, not on the policy side. So that's both good and bad. Good because guns are more mainstream on the entertainment side. The problem is we are in the entertainment side and not in the actual policy side. So we're advancing the guns and the pew pews, but it's in the cool factor, the faddish fads and pop and all that stuff instead of let's actually advance gun rights and let's advance gun knowledge and gun responsibility. We're making it cool, which again is it's awesome, but we're also destroying it, right? This happens to music. It becomes cool and it's punk rock. I mean, I'm not a punk rock fan, but I know the history of it. It was the grunge and it was the fuck you to the man and all that stuff, and then became pop, and then all of a sudden it's not what punk used to be. It's now anybody's a fucking punk rocker. Same thing happened with hip hop. That's what I like. That's my genre. Same shit happened. It was underground. It was for the people, and then all of a sudden it became mainstream. And I think that's where the gun community is at, is with all of this influencing shit. It's all about what's cool, not what is correct. I don't know if you have answers for this.
Me. Um, if I were to speak, I would speak on mental health. Um, I think everyone can put some work into their mental health. And I think if we as a gun community and culture take that lead, we're better off. And what are you laughing at? Are you laughing at? Does this girl play the victim card in Heat Rob Pete?
No, not you, not you. The person we were
Oh,
talking about. That we
I get it.
introduced. Yeah,
Yep, I
yeah,
know, I know. But yeah, I think mental health, helping people kind of get control of their own minds. I think there is a clear path to doing that through nervous system regulation. I think it's super important. In terms of if I were to invite someone, it would be a psychologist. And if what is it, the gun culture. I don't know where we are really. I'm in my own little Barbie world. But where I would, no one, you didn't laugh at my fucking Barbie world joke. Um, I would like to see people uniting in the purpose of the Second Amendment, which was to give the people the ability to overthrow a tyrannical government. I would like to see people outreaching into the community and helping train people instead of everyone just using capitalism and gun stuff to make money. I think it's important that our society starts getting more involved in guns, and it's very cost prohibitive. So I'd love to see people doing more volunteer work and more volunteer training and targeting women and children, and kind of expanding the culture, adding in some. I remember. Um, it wasn't me.
no, no, no.
I'd certainly go off on someone live. Um, but yeah, I'm
It just
always focused.
sorry because you're saying really awesome shit, but it's just so fucking funny that all I have to say is a few things and people already know who the fuck I'm talking about. And for the few that don't know who I'm talking about, it's just that's why I don't want to say the name. I don't even want to give enough, but it's yeah, no, it not a good thing for the gun industry, and I think that's where the coolness factor comes along. And I know I sound like a hater right now, and I admit that, and but I genuinely believe there's a few people who I don't like, and I can still work with them. I've said this before, and I'll continue saying this because it's not about me liking you or not liking you, but I can pinpoint maybe a handful of humans who are horrible for the gun community, and they should not be involved in the gun community. They're not good for the liberty movement in any way, shape, or form, at all. That said, I think you had better answers than I did.
Well, that's
Uh,
because they don't understand freedom. They're just appeasing their ego. They're getting attention and feeling like they're special because they don't have that internal self worth. And I think it's a root of a lot of our issues is just childhood fucking traumas. And that's what you see with this person is just acting out childhood traumas. And again, I mean, people who have more advanced self-awareness see things very clearly, but we have a society that is not self-aware because the government took it away with their personal responsibility. So somehow we need to inject some self-awareness and principles and not having being hypocrites to their principles. When you have a principle, it's a fucking principle. You don't violate it. And people that are doing this for the love of freedom and the tools that keep us free, even though we're fucking slaves,
yeah,
that aren't doing it just for, oh, I'm so cool and people like me. Um,
which by the way is awesome, but but um,
fake.
there's got to be more to it, right? It can't be fake. It can't be. Um, I, I deal with this a lot. I do because I don't have a good relationship with my mom. Kicked me out when I was 13 years of age, all that shit. I've been married since I was 15, all of that shit. There's a lot of trauma there. So, like, I know why I need people to share my stuff. I also believe I have decent information, but I'm also not going to fake it just so that people like me.
Yep.
I very well understand when I do my walking videos, so fucking unorganized. Like if I was watching, I'd be like, what the fuck is this dude fucking fuck this guy? But I do them because walking's boring and it sucks. So two birds, one stone. And but that's just me, right? Like I'm super unorganized up in the brain. I don't like to organize shit. I embrace the chaos. Um, and there's others who will go out of their way to make sure you like them. I want you to like me, but I'm not going to go out of my way to make it happen. Like I'm not going to show you my ankle.
I
It's
actually looked through my pictures. I didn't take pictures of tiny sandals the other
you're
day.
like, fuck yeah, I
At
want
least that
that.
I can
I want
find.
that subscribe. Here's my ankle. Uh,
You know
um,
what? If you follow me on Twitter, I've got some ankle pics in
some
there.
ankle pics. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So why did you say mental health? And why do you bring up the psychiatrist? I want you to expand on that a tad bit.
All of the problems we have in the world are because of our minds. There's
But
this
as a
article this
go.
I read in my journey towards freedom. And there's just little things that have just sat with me throughout the years. And it's this article. You can all go search for it on fee.org. And it's called The Cobra Effect. And the story is of this little town in India. And my understanding is it's a true story. And the little town got infested with cobras. So the government said, we're going to pay you $10 for every cobra head that you bring to us. So everyone went out and killed the cobras, and then there were no cobras left. So then the people started raising cobras in their houses, cutting off their heads and going to get their $10 per cobra head. And then the government realized what they were doing, and they said, no more cobras, no more reward for cobra heads. So then all these people released their pet cobras into the city, and they had more cobras than they began with. And what that means to me is you need to address the root issue. You always have, in any problem that you're experiencing, you have to go to the root issue. And the root issue is always humans were a mistake because our minds are so fucking fragile and freaking monkey. I try to not say that. It's not because I don't like the one. I like to call people monkeys instead. But yeah, it's all in our minds. The people seeking attention with no self-awareness. I like attention too. I love attention. Go ahead and like my pictures. I love attention. I'm aware of it. I know why I want it, and I don't need it. But I think people in the gun community can use some mental health training and learning. These aren't things that people go learn on their own. They get immersed in the systems that people don't have time to go read a mass amounts of psychology books. They don't understand the nervous system. They think they're fine. They're married. They're not fighting. Like everyone thinks they're fine. And no one is actually fine because no one has control of their own minds. And that's where I'll come back to even like, anarchy being unrealistic. Yeah, because everyone's a freaking slave to their own ego. Like that's we're never going to be free from ourselves. But I don't, in my manifestation to anarchy, is focusing on fixing the root cause, which is our minds, and freeing our minds from our egos, because we're never going to be a free species until we're free from ourselves.
And I think that's, for me, that's important, not at the weird spiritual level where you're talking about it, which is still important on a individual journey, right? Like as an individual, I think you should understand your brain and the fact that this idea that you don't control your brain is, you can argue whether or not it's true, but when it comes to trauma, when it comes to stress, the limbic system, there's plenty of proof that the limbic system takes over, and you're subject to whatever the limbic system has in its programming. And a lot of it is based off of previous experiences, previous traumas, whatever. That's where PTSD comes from, and all that shit. So there's a huge truth. Whether we agree or disagree on the nuances of it is, maybe we could leave it for a different podcast. But there is a truth for self-defense. There is a truth for just owning a firearm. On the mental health side of it is understanding this, so that at least to take it to a more generic level, is there's no negative outcomes with firearms, right? Because now if you want to talk about murder reduction, if you want to talk about suicide reduction, if you want to talk about violence that happens to involve a firearm, because I'm not a I've learned to stop using gun violence, because that's not a real thing. It's violence, and it happens to be with the gun. Um, it's understanding how the brain works so you can heal yourself. Because if you
Yep.
can't heal yourself, then bad shit happens with pew pews, and it is the most lethal thing out there. Like there's whether we like
I
to
saw
admit
that
it.
the government made like an energy beam, and they can just like fucking push a button, and there's now an energy beam that can just destroy us.
Uh,
And they built it with our money. Just
yeah, I this is gonna be fun. So I don't know if you even want to talk about it, but I like we want to have, I do for sure, a separate podcast where we could talk about all the batshit crazy stuff that goes on in your brain. Because it's this fun fucking mixture. I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, because I don't think the government's that fucking smart. You're a little bit more Alex Jonesy. For sure the frogs are gay because the chemtrails and fucking aspartame in your fucking whatever and red dye 42. And I'm not, and that's gonna be a fucking fun if it happens, and if whatever, it's gonna be fucking fun. That said, though, I do think it's important to acknowledge the mental health side of it, regardless of its cause, uh, regardless if it's chemtrails or not. It,
well, I think it's very so. I'm not a crazy person, but I am a woman, and I do get emotional, and I have experienced childhood trauma.
yeah.
And New York Outcast, I'm curious where in New York you're from. I grew up in Westchester, but his comment, I'm sorry, I'm getting all over the place. According to my psychology class, the brain can and does work against us all times. It absolutely does. And it's this quote, you
He
are
said
your
he
own
said
worst
he
enemy.
said he said at times, not all the time.
Oh, absolutely. At
Yeah.
times.
Okay.
It's when your nervous system gets activated. It's your fight, your flight, your fawn, your faint. Um, but your ego seeks what it knows. So if you know abuse, your ego is seeking abuse. And if it's not finding it, it's going to create it. So I know I used to like create fights just because fighting is what I know. And even I'm a fairly intelligent person. And I could break, there's, breaking your conscious from your ego, becoming a witness of your own mind. Like I can break and I can watch myself behave like a fucking lunatic fighting with an ex-boyfriend and I can't fucking stop it. And I know I'm being psychotic and I know I should stop and I know this, but I can't stop it. And the key to me was stop trying to stop it and stop paying attention to it and pay attention to your body. Because when I feel like my elbows like getting all fucking anxious and I can feel that shit in my body. So you stop paying attention to your mind, get out of your mind and pay attention to your body. And that's when you can actually start making changes. But yeah, you go into the talk on the limbic system, I'll call it nervous system. We're talking the same shit.
Yeah.
But it gets conditioned to respond in certain ways and you have to reprogram it. And a lot of people don't even know that they're just on autopilot. But when you pay attention to your body, that's when you can see it. You can feel like you're shaking. You can feel whatever. But yeah, our egos work against us. We
And
all need some.
this is why I I'm a fan of the training philosophy that we teach, and I'm a fan of the training philosophy, and I will defend it all the time, because it's based on that understanding that your timer, your stupid fucking 3 pound trigger, your fancy fucking red dot, your whatever, is never going to compensate for what's going on in your limbic system, for what your automated response is. A lot of humans will buy a fancy trigger, and they'll make their gun all douchey, and only because my only experience is going to the range, and everybody at the range sees my gun, and I don't want my gun to be basic. I want my gun to be
Ego.
pretty. I want it to be super douchey, right? This is why dudes take off their shirts and show off their tattoos and shit like that. They just want to be douchey and fucking tiny peckers and all that shit. Um, so that's why they do it. Is I want to be cool. And again, I go back to that's where the gun industry's at right now. That's where the gun community's at. If you want to call it a community, it's in its cool phase. And I just want to be cool instead of understand amygdala hijacking. I wish people would just spend some time studying amygdala hijacking and how that affects the way you respond to certain things. And if you don't, a lot of people believe, um, oh, you did you pair Twitch?
I
You
don't know.
did. That's where the best spammers are at is fucking Twitch. Um, the the amygdala hijacking and how you can actually reprogram that and the proper steps and all that stuff. More humans should understand that than how fast you can draw your gun. Dry fire is one of the most detrimental things that humans can do with their firearms, because it is programming things in your brain that's not real. It is programming things in your brain that is never going to come up in a good guy bad guy fight. Once you press the trigger and nothing happens, your brain thinks, "Oh, this is what's supposed to happen when you press the trigger, nothing." And then you grab the slide and then you rack it back. You're telling your brain again, the automated. We have two systems. If anybody's listened to this before, system one, system two. System one is the all the automated shit. This is why you get home and don't know that you drove. You forget that it's fucking weird. That's your system one. Everything's
You're going
happening
to
in the
McDonald's and then all of a sudden you're halfway to work. Like, what?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
What
like,
just
what the fuck? The fuck just happened? Your system two is, and you could call it whatever the fuck you want, but this is it. It's the automated stuff, and it's the stuff that you're thinking about when you're doing a new activity, when you're learning something new, you're actually paying attention. That's your system two. Um,
conscious and unconscious?
yeah, I mean, we can call it whatever we want to call it. I think we're speaking the same language,
Yep.
but this is why we don't believe in the four basic farm safety rules, because people will say always treat as if it were loaded and then proceed to take the mag out and press the trigger to relax the spring. Like that's fucking 1980 shit. Or they say always point in a safe direction and then they fucking holster it pointing it at themselves. I mean, you have to, but your brain picks up on that shit. Like you said always point in a safe direction and then you pointed it at yourself. That's fucking weird. So we have to find better rules. We have to find shit that makes sense for the brain to actually pick up. And that's why I was interested why you're talking about the brain, because one, we take mental health very, very seriously. It's something that we've always been big on, mostly because I understand my own depression and I understand and I'm aware that I'm a broken human being and I happen to own guns. And I think it's important to understand that if you're going to be a responsible gun owner. Um,
I think of it as more if you're going to have the highest quality life and live with meaning and purpose. You're going to do that better with a healthy mind.
okay, I'm trying to figure this out. I was until you said elbow.
When I get anxiety, I feel it in my elbows and my spine, and I was just where
Oh,
I feel
oh
it.
yeah, yeah, got it. That's
I
weird.
read this book once. What book? I can't remember what book it was. Um, but he talked about how like geese when they like get all in a fight, they'll like flap their wings just to like let go of like the I'll call it emotion, like the physical release of like fighting with each other. They just flap
Yeah,
their wings.
that's
Um,
hilarious. Well, a lot of that is just
it's
body
all
natural. A lot of it is just body's natural reaction. So, part of the body's natural reactions is the shunting of blood flow. And I don't know if that's what you're feeling, but it's your body's distributing blood differently throughout your body. So
I
you
don't
do,
know what it is. It's
yeah,
anxiety, but it like run. I feel like it's like running through my not now, but
correct.
when I can feel anxiety when I feel it, and when I feel it, it's like like runs down my spine and like through my arms.
Yeah.
My legs are fine. Um, but yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, you fucking weirdo. Yeah, I agree with Outcast, and this is what you said as well. And this is stuff that we try and tell people is, especially with guns. I do spend some time talking to humans on how to properly choose a gun because it comes up a lot. But I always try and mention as much as I can is, if you really want to know what's important, is understand how the brain works, understand how the body naturally reacts, not how you think the body reacts, but how it actually reacts in a moment of stress or in a moment of trauma. And we have video evidence on all of this stuff. Isaac, he's a connoisseur of videos of people shooting other people, and it's consistent. It is
I think
super
Isaac needs
consistent.
some mental health.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's fucking he's a
Getting it.
sadist. He's a sadist, but he will find videos, and every single time, oh shit, here we go. People, there was one in Atlanta where he's a gun store owner. He's a competitive shooter, and competitive shooters are pretty pretentious on how awesome they are with guns. And he presented the fucking video, and this dude was a supposedly a champion in his area for USPSA, and he did absolutely nothing the same as he does in the competition. Nothing. Everything about it was not USPSA in any way, shape, or form, and a lot of it is because his brain's like, we're gonna do what's efficient right now. We're not gonna do your fucking gamey shit. We're gonna do the most efficient thing, and you have no fucking control over it. And that's what I mean, is just, if we don't understand how the brain works and we don't understand the body's natural reactions, we start training for shit that doesn't work, and then when real life happens, our brain's like, nope, this is not what we're gonna do. And then you start to fight with your own brain on what the fuck's gonna happen. And then you fucking don't do efficient self-defense. That's why it's better to just let your brain and your body do what it needs, and you just give it responses for when the stimulus happens. It's a fucking weird thing. It's a weird thing. It's a lot of stuff that people don't want to pay attention to, though, because now I have to be aware of who I am,
Yeah.
and that's scary.
Going into the abyss. Yeah, people don't want to know who they are because they don't want to look at the bad parts. I think it's funny. I know I already said I didn't want to go into shadow integration, but um, I'm a horrible bitch. I am so mean and I am so horrible, and I have accepted that and integrated it, and I'm very happy with what a bitch I am at this point. Um, and it's funny too because I will sit here perfectly calm, literally no fucking
Oh, you're a
emotional
yeller.
reaction at all,
You're a
being
yeller.
like so fucking vicious to people. And they're like, you're so emotional. I'm like, I literally am sitting here eating an ice pop. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Um, but yeah, um, digging in and finding the horrible aspects of our own selves are things people don't really want to do.
Well, and that's how you come to terms with what it is, and then you can change it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Is my wife and
Or you
I.
make the unconscious conscious, you will what is the quote? You
Oh,
keep
find
talking
the
about it.
quote.
I'll look for the
Find the
quote.
quote. Yeah, my wife and I have been on this journey to lose weight, and it's been more frustrating for her than it has been for me. But it's my daughter, my youngest one. She would always remind us how fat we are, because she's an asshole like that. Um, and I remember there was times where, like, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just remember this incorrectly, but it's having conversations with my wife is just like, well, we're not fans of our daughter saying you're fat, um, to a certain degree, but is she wrong? Right? Like, is the statement incorrect? And we have two options: accept it and just live with it, or we're gonna do something about it. And that's all you can do, is just get into your brain and be like, I'm this way, and it is what it is, and this is what I like, and I could do one or two things: try and change it because it's negative and it's detrimental to my life, or change it. And as a gun owner, I speak about this a lot as an instructor, but as a gun owner, I have to understand this so I understand how I can deal with shit when problems arise when I'm carrying a gun. I'm not the angriest of human beings, but when I get overwhelmed, that anger comes out a lot more, and so I need to understand that. So I need to because I don't want the gun to be the option. I never want the gun to be the option. The two times that I've had to use my gun in self defense, it was because I legitimately needed to use my gun in self defense. It wasn't because a car was being taken or it got emotional or I wanted to show off how fucking small my pecker was or anything like that. It was I genuinely needed to use my gun in self defense. And there's a lot of men who struggle with the ego, struggle with the depression, struggle with whatever, and somebody will try and steal their car, and then they'll go and try and defend that car. There's going to be a lot of people in the chat, or at least they won't say it, but they're probably listening to this. They're like, "Well, somebody fucks with my car. I'm going to go out there and kill that motherfucker." There's clearly something wrong in there that makes you believe that a car is that important, just to even risk your life and acknowledging that. Let's go back to the semi guy. Like
It's a
it's annoying.
violation.
It's annoying. It sucks. It's uncomfortable, but you're not going to go slice their tires. Uh, you're going to be mean to them.
So I I get the thought of it. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with going and killing someone because they took hunting them down.
Yeah.
Um, but if someone takes from you, they're taking from you. That's a violation. It's a violation of you. So I get how people can internalize it that way and let the ego take control and go redeem themselves because they've been violated. Um, if someone raped me, I'd want to hunt them down and murder them. I mean, a car is a different scenario, but it's
Just a
still a
little bit
violation.
different.
Again, I'm not justifying it. But yeah, shame, embarrassment, and self-discipline. Sometimes you gotta shame people, and that's what I do with my bitchiness. I fucking shame people. But yeah, it's not worth it, and you're better than that, and you can control it. And I'm not speaking to you specifically, but these people, um, it's not worth it to you to get so I call it activated. Your nervous system is now activated. You're now in fight or flight, and you now have lost complete. Not you don't have no control of your mind, but you've lost complete control of it because your nervous system has now taken over, and your nervous system can't think; it can only react. So it's really important to get as much control of your nervous system to be able to recognize those physical reactions for when you get triggered into fight or flight to know you're in fight mode. Just fucking take 90 seconds to breathe. And that was something that was kind of miraculous for me in dealing with challenging people when I would get activated is it's 90 seconds. Like emotions are physical reactions to chemicals released in your brain. And if you do, and it cycles, you get stuck on this. You're thinking about your car being stolen over and over and over again, and you're continuously triggering that fight or flight mode over and over and over and over again. Whereas if you can just take 90 seconds to just sit and just breathe, it goes away. And you just need to take 90 fucking seconds to not react, to not get caught up in the thoughts and just sit there and just freaking breathe and regulate your nervous system. 90 seconds.
Yeah, I've got up here for those of you guys watching. For those of you guys listening, it would highly benefit you on this topic to just study. I've got the AI overview. I know for a fact AI gets it wrong a lot of the times. I've proved it with the laws and all that shit. But study amygdala hijack or amygdala hijacking. It's described as a situation where the amygdala, the brain's emotional center, overpowers the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of the brain, leading to an intense, often disproportionate emotional reaction. And a lot of this has to do with previous experiences, and this is what people call triggers or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But there's a way to kind of understand how it works, how to quote unquote retrain the amygdala and shit like that, so it doesn't overreact. Right? When a woman does it, we call it overreaction. When
When a man does it, it's so tough.
it's so tough. But we all do it. We're all affected by it, and it's led to a lot of people doing either murdery shit that they shouldn't be doing, or, and many times, unfortunately, committing suicide with the firearm. And it's choosing the right gun is awesome. Understanding how your brain works is significantly more important than that. Understanding your body's natural reactions, understanding the amygdala, understanding all of that shit is super important. Um, Anything else? I think I'm all topicked out. I'm not all talked out. I just don't have any more topics to
I don't know
discuss.
if I have any topics either.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I'm good
New
with it
York
right here.
Outcast is cool, dude. He's hijacked his own brain. That's cool to see. I love it.
Um, so I appreciate everybody that jumped on. Super duper appreciate it. As always, I don't know why X has the most amount of humans on it. Um, Rumble's absolutely fucking worthless. Facebook is worthless. But YouTube people and people on Twitter, super duper appreciate you guys. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the conversation. Thanks for the questions, the challenges, the creep. I don't know if I should encourage that shit in any way, shape, or form.
Honestly, the name sounds familiar. I feel like we've gotten into it before, and I've blocked him. But it's quite possible. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's
I've got like 500 people blocked, so I don't know.
yeah. You're a blocker.
Oh, I love it because
Yeah.
one, most of them are politicians, and I block them to set boundaries and not have them invading my energy. They're so disgusting. And then I like to block where I know they are emotion dumping on me, because then they go and they write up and then you block them and they send it and then they like they get fucking triggered all over.
Yeah.
I know we can sit here and talk about mental health healing, but I love to trigger people too.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
It's with love, because
Sure.
triggering people into their own healing. I like to make people suffer a little bit because suffering also triggers us into healing. So I'm using my evil for good.
Yeah.
I convince myself of that at least.
That's fucking hilarious. Yeah. For a very long time, we had a rule not to block anybody. I don't know if we're still following that rule or not. It got tough when spammers became a thing, and it became really tough to not block spammers. But we
So
tend to
yeah,
not.
I've got 5,000, probably 400 of those blocks are Elon bots. It's freaking insane.
So either way, I appreciate you for jumping on, taking over for Isaac. For those of you guys, I'll let Isaac talk about it. If he wants to talk about it, it's his story. It's not my story. But hopefully Isaac can rejoin us next Thursday and kind of get back on track to doing this every once in a while. And all that shit. But anyways, we've got classes coming up. Hopefully, this lady and myself will do this again outside of this channel. We'll do it somewhere else and kind of talk about weird shit and stuff that makes humans angry and all that shit. Not just gun related. Um, you don't have you have all your socials and it's just
I
AnarCO Barbie.
I just created some of them. Like I just made a TikTok the other day, and then someone's like, "You should do a Twitch instead." So then I created a Twitch. They're completely empty. Sometimes I go on Facebook and shame the people I know in real life for being statist. And
Everywhere it's AnarCO Barbie.
yes, I'm working on kind of. That's my name, but my at symbol is not AnCap Barbie everywhere. Um,
Okay.
there's a or Anarcho, not AnCap. It used to be AnCap. There's another AnarCO Barbie on fucking Twitter. Like, what the
Oh,
fuck? And she's in another country, and I'm like, did people like go on and like steal this from me? Like, who else would have this? Um, but yeah, I'm trying to organize and align things a little better.
Sweet.
But I have a link tree. I think it's on my Instagram, which is I keep saying it, AnarCO_Barbie. Twitter is probably the best to find me. It's all is good 007 or Allie's good 007. It's punny. Allie, and I'm good.
Hold on. There you go. I don't know if you heard the little but but go follow her, follow us if you're not following us and you're watching us because she told you about us. Super duper appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for taking the time, comment, doing all that stuff. I will say it now that Isaac's not here. Isaac hates doing this, but I have no shame whatsoever because I want it and I need it. But follow us on the stuff and the things, share it, like it, do all that stuff, feed my ego, heal my depression with your likes.
Dopamine, dopamine.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. I'm gonna go on a walk here after this, and I'm gonna have my fucking stupid selfie stick fucking making a video about so stupid, man. I'm an idiot. But anyways, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out, listening to all the batshit crazy shit that we were talking about. And for those of you guys that don't like bad words and like saying there, I wish they wouldn't cuss as much.